Hi everybody, it's Nicolas Dorier. So today I will present you what I've been working on for like the past 2 or 3 weeks, which is an implementation of DLCs. So basically, for those that don't know, DLC is a way to make a bet with another person whose outcome is attested by what we call an oracle. So the nice feature of DLCs is that first is discrete. So discrete means that somebody looking at the chain cannot know that those two peoples are inside the bets. And what is also very cool is that the oracle actually don't need to interact with any of the parties. The oracle don't have to even know that people are using it for making bets. So it's very interesting legal implication is that the oracle can prevent anybody to use them to do whatever they want with it. And the also nice thing is that the oracle actually don't need to run a server. As you will see, it's very easy to create a new bet, new event as we call it, and just broadcast the result to everybody listening to when it comes around. So it's very interesting way of doing bets. So and I thought it's kind of very, it's kind of fun in a sense that everybody loves betting, but on top of the fun, you can do very interesting things. For example, betting on, if you bet on a future price, you can hedge yourself against the volatility of bitcoins, of things like this. So it's what Crypto Garage has been doing. And for today, I would just want to show you a demo of how you do these kind of things with the tool I developed the last 2 or 3 weeks. So it's very experimental. So I don't distribute the binaries right now. So I require you to build and to run by yourself. I documented it, so I won't go through these steps. You have to look at it. This is done to prevent people that are not tech savvy enough to use something that is still not fixed. So like I might do breaking change after one commit or two. So like, don't put too much money on it, or if you put money on it, be sure that you're tech savvy enough to rescue it if anything go wrong. That being said, you don't to make it to engage in a DLC. The nice thing is that you don't really need an additional wallet. You can just use any wallet that you want that already have some basic PSBT features. So that include, of course, BTC server, Wasabi wallet, Electrum, Bitcoin Core. I think there is many others. And it also doesn't require the two people to have a server that is listening the blockchain, because there is no way with this variant of DLC, there is no way for Bob to try to cheat Alice if she's away from looking the network. So that's pretty cool. Another very cool feature of DLC is that when Olivia is announcing the outcome of one bet, she cannot announce 2 outcomes at once. She needs only to pick one. And the reason is, if she picks 2 outcomes, then Alice and Bob can retrieve her private key. So giving 2 outcomes of one bet equal giving out the private key. So this is very cool, because the oracle cannot selectively try to cheat. The oracle can will be spotted if you do this, and the oracle, more importantly, will reveal her private key, the private key while doing it. So the basic user flow that's going on is, first, like, there is some kind of oracle that want to become an oracle. So for example, it might be me, might be somebody you trust. It doesn't really matter. But this person run the command oracle generate Olivia. By doing so, she generates a public key that she can share to anybody. So for example, my bet with Chris, there is the public key of the oracle that is shared in the Twitter bio. This is pretty cool, and like people that trust this oracle can just add it by running this command line to their setup. So I will do that again later, so I would go fast on this. Then later, like events, like Olivia wants to attest some event in the future. So for example, Olivia wants to say, okay, there is a new bet, new events. Who will win the election? Is it Republican? Is it Democrats? And the day she will know, she will attest the result, and people can use this attestation to move out their contract. So if people are interested into this bet, they can add the bet with this command line using the nonce that she shared in her message plus the different outcomes. So we'll do that together later. And then imagine that now there is Alice that just that want to create an offer for somebody to take. So the process is very easy. She defined what is her offer. So what is what I call her payoff function. So if Republicans win, she will win 0.6 Bitcoin. If Democrats win, she will lose minus 0.4. And once she did this, then she need to add, like to tell to Bob, like how she will fund the collateral of her bet. So right now in this specific bet, she can in a maximum lose 0.4 Bitcoin. So she need to do what I call a setup PSBT. So a setup PSBT is a way to tell to my tool, like how do you think you will fund those this collateral, and what is the in the event that you win, you get back some money over your collateral, to which address should the money be sent. So I will show you how to do this later. I will come back to this later. So Bob needs to review the offer, accept the offer, and once it's accepted, same thing as with Alice, you need to tell to my tool what are where he will receive the payouts of this bet and how he plan to fund it. So by doing so, like both accepted the DLC, but after having accepted it, they both still need to send the money to lock the money inside the DLC. So how it goes from there. So when Bob did this, he received an accept message that we say. So he gave this accept message back to Alice. Alice checks the signatures. Once she checks the signatures, then she can partially sign a transaction that will fund this DLC. So she do that with her favorite wallet. I will show you how to do that later. She runs start and then she give back this message to Bob. And Bob actually will do the same thing. He will verify the signature of Alice, sign the funding, and then once it signs the funding, it can broadcast it, because now the funding is a conjoint between the two peers. Both have signed their part, and he can broadcast it on the blockchain. Once he done this, the DLC is on. And one day, like Olivia come back and attest the result of the election, she will broadcast on Twitter or whatever medium, like publicly, the attestation of her bet, and one of the two participants can execute the DLC. So by executing a DLC, they will get a valid transaction that they can broadcast on the network that will distribute the results of the payout of the bets to each of the participants. So basically, I will showcase you how to do this. So let's go to Olivia. So as I say, Olivia is the oracle in her bets. And what you need to do is NDLC running this tool. So I don't tell you how to compile it. Look at it for yourself. I documented it. But the tool is very well documented. So you can always check some help. And more importantly, my tool, I will use... sorry, actually I need to build it one time for this video. It doesn't show up right now, so I'm building it. Okay, it's better. So when you see the help, you can see that she can specify what network she want to use my tool with, and also what is your data directory. So the data directory is quite useful when, as in this video, we have 3 peers and I'm using the same computer, so I don't want them to mix up their data, so I can put them in different data directories. So I will use testnet, and data dir I will use the directory Olivia. And from this, also you can use help to see what's going on, what you need to do. So Olivia wants to create a new pub key for her Oracle, right? So she can go, you can see that she can go inside Oracle, so Olivia Oracle, and then she can see the different command available here. So she wants to generate a new Oracle, so generate, and we give it a random name, Olivia. So I generate it. Oops, what's going on? Oracle generates. Oh, sorry. Oracle generate Olivia. Okay. So up, I run this. I have the public key of Olivia. So this public key, then I can she can broadcast it on Twitter or whatever. Then Alice and Bob can just add this public key to their own setup. So same command line, NDLC.x. We are using testnet data dir. I will use Alice, and I will run Oracle. So I think it's Oracle add. So Oracle add Olivia, and her public key. Sorry, I forgot add and her public key. Okay, I copy this. Bob doing the same, except in his own data directory. Okay, both know Olivia, and actually they can list, their Oracle if they want, like by doing Oracle list or Oracle show, for example, Olivia. They can see, for example, that they don't have the private key, this kind of stuff. And Olivia actually can get the private key with these commands. Okay, so now what happened is that Olivia decided to be the Oracle for a new future event that is US elections. So I will go back to Olivia. So Olivia will do, okay, I want to manage a new event. Okay. Events. What can she do? So for adding a new event, the way you do it is add full event name, nonce, and outcome. Sorry. She wants to generate, so it's this one. So to generate an event, so she generates, and the full event name. I think if you do help, you should have more help. Yes. So the the format is the Oracle name / the name of the event. So you can put whatever name. It's like to make it easy to use via command line nature. So I will generate a new event. So I will use the Oracle Olivia, and it's for the elections. And it's either Republican, or the outcomes are either Republican or Democrat or other. Generate. Now Olivia can just share this that we call announce, and she can just share this 3 outcome. So she broadcasts it on Twitter or whatever. And then if we go back to Alice and Bob, they can add this event to their own setup. So it's like Alice events, add Olivia elections. So I use the same, so it's easier to understand. The nonce, the nonce given by Olivia elections. The nonce given by Olivia, which is, let me fetch it, this one. Okay. And the outcomes are Republican, Democrats, and others. So I will put this here. Done. Same command for Bob. Like Bob and Alice are basically doing the same things. So I will... my copy paste don't work here. Okay. Data dir, except it's Bob added. Okay. So now they added both events. You can still see like details of events, so you can list events, and you can see, for example, more information about this event. Okay, no, so if you want to share with somebody else, you can do this. So now, like Alice want to create an offer for this contract. So how does she do it? So for doing this, she uses the command DLC, and DLC she need to use offer. She will call it US bet or bet. I will just call it bet. Okay, easier. And the event is Olivia elections. And next, she needs to put the payoff. So what does she expect to win or to lose in this bet? So for example, if the Republican win, she wants to win 0.06 Bitcoin. If Democrats win, then she wants to lose minus 0.04 Bitcoin. If it's other, then it's like a, people get back their money. So she don't want to lose or win anything. So 0. So she creates the bet. And now, like, anytime you want more, a very useful command that you can use from now on is that every time you're stuck, you don't know what to do next, you can do DLC show bets. So Alice will do just this. And here you have a nice explanation about the next step of it. So after creating the offer, basically what you need to do is to tell to Bob, so to bundle inside this offer, how will you fund this offer. So maximum she can lose 0.004 Bitcoin. So it means that she needs to fund this amount of money inside the DLC. So she needs to a way to tell that to my tool and to Bob's. So to do this, she can use her wallet. So whatever wallet, like Wasabi wallet, in our case we use BTC Pay server, and to do this kind of DLC. So she needs to send to herself 0.004 Bitcoin. But she don't need to broadcast it. She just needs to create this transaction. Okay, so let's see now the wallets of Alice and Bob. So Alice will send to herself. So she will take her address, an address that she owns. She do send. She put her address, and she need to send so this amount of Bitcoin, and we copy paste it here. Okay. And I advise you to put some at least 10 of fill rate, because like we have still some bugs related if you use 1 Satoshi per byte. So once you do this, you don't have to sign it. So basically you export this as a PSBT. And you can copy paste this PSBT. So I copy it. I will get back to my tool. And I will use DLC setup bet, because it's the name of my DLC, and put my PSBT. So what you get back, actually this is an offer that you need to transmit to Bob, but same thing, there is no explanation. So when you're stuck and you wonder what happened, DLC show the name of your DLC. So you check it, and they say that you need to blah 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 blah, you need to you need to pass the offer to the other party. And you can see the offer with this command line. If you missed it, it's the same as here. But in case you miss it, you can just, give it get it again with this command line. Here, show. Okay. So this is this offer. So Alice can take it and like give it to Bob. But Bob really want to know what's going on. He don't want to blindly accept any offer that he gets. So he will do DLC review. Put the DLC, the offer, and then you get a nice explanation of about what this event is. So this is this event, and here are the odds. So if Republican win, he lose 0.006 Bitcoin. If Democrat win, he win this amount of money. He need that amount of money to cover the worst case situation in case he lose. So this amount of collateral. And basically this means the refund validity at block 999. It means that imagine that Olivia disappear. It means that Bob and Alice will not be able to get a refund. So like I put it at a high value here, but like for now, forget about it. If you want to accept this payoff, then Bob can enter this command line. So that's what Bob will do. So let's say accept. I accept. I will call it bet as well. And I will just copy paste the offer here. Boom. Like. Okay, contract accepted. So now both Bob and Alice need to found this contract. So the way so first Bob actually sorry, I missed one step. So Bob accepted the contract, but now we need to do the same steps as Alice did before. So he need to send to himself the amount of collateral that is necessary for the contract. So once again, if you are lost, DLC show bets, you get the explanation here. You need to send this amount of money. Okay. So let's go back to BTC Pay and do that for now. Let me find it. Okay, so I go to his wallet. I take his address. So he's sending to himself. Sending to himself. And he's sending to himself some amount of money. This amount of money here. Done. Like 10. And like same things, export as PSBT. It's exactly the same step as Alice. He copy paste, then he go back to the command line and do DLC setup and put the DLC, the PSBT. So setup, sorry, bet. Okay. So Bob get back in reply what we call accept message. Same thing, you can also do a DLC show to know what's going on, but like I will just copy paste this and give it back to Alice. So what Alice need to do, if I do DLC show on her side, she need to run DLC check sig. Okay, so DLC check sigs. Here I put the message of Bob. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, Bob. So it got accepted. And what you see here, actually, it's an unsigned funding transaction. So if I do DLC show bets, what she needs to do right now is to actually sign a transaction that is sending the money to the DLC contract. So she can lock her collateral inside the contract. Okay. So she needs to partially sign this transaction. So the way she do it, she gets the funding transaction with this command line. Okay, she get this one, and then she use her favorite wallet to partially sign this. So same thing, if you are using BTC Pay, you go to BTC Pay, you copy paste the code, you need to do updates. This is a bug. Normally you should not have to do update before, but there is a bug in BTC Pay. Then you go sign with the hot wallet. And as you can see, she signed one of her outputs, this one, okay? But there's still two that need to be signed by Bob, okay? So like, she personally signed it. We will export it as the PSBT. We will copy back this one, go back to the CLI. And so now Alice can just run DLC start. Bet. DLC start, bet, or name, and the PSBT. Tac, I put it. Boom. So this message, you need to give it back to Bob. So basically, it's giving to Bob, okay, look at this. I signed my funding transaction, my part of the funding transaction. So she need to give it back to Bob. Okay. So Bob, if I see what you need to do, you need to do DLC check sig on this signed message that Alice just did. So that's what I will do. So DLC check sigs and just put message. Okay. What you see here is actually the same funding transaction that need to be signed by Bob. Okay, so Bob will do the exact same step that Alice did with his own wallets. So he will decode the PSBT, he will update it, and he will sign it. So now you can see that it's fully signed, okay? Like all index, all the inputs are signed, you can broadcast it. So I just want to explain you something. Like imagine that Bob's is malicious and he's not doing this last part. He's not signing the funding transaction. So if that happened, it's pretty bad for Alice. Why? Because like the day that the Oracle announced the outcome, then it means that Bob, if the outcome is positive for Bob, Bob can just broadcast the funding transaction with the payout to get the money. If Bob lost the contract, then he can just not trash the funding transaction. So it's very important that if Bob doesn't broadcast this funding transaction, Alice needs to cancel the DLC. How does she cancel? So she cancel by signing and broadcasting the cancel, the abort transaction. So she can get it with DLC show bet, and the option is abort. Abort for this DLC. So this is likely a bug. I will check it soon. But she need to abort it. So normally she run this. She has a transaction appearing, a PSBT appearing. She need to sign it and broadcast it. Okay. By doing this, she will cancel the DLC. It's important if Bob doesn't reply. Okay. But let's for the purpose of our example, let's say okay, Bob properly accepted this, and like he signed his transaction and he broadcasted it. Boom. But here you can see that the funding transaction has been broadcasted, and that's about it. Now the DLC started. We just wait for Olivia to get the results of this election. So let's go back to Olivia. So imagine Olivia now, as an oracle, know who won. So imagine it's the Democrats, okay? The Republican. She can attest this event by running Olivia events attest sign, and the name of the event and the outcome. By doing this, boom. This is the attestation. Hopefully you forgive me for my French accent, but she can share this to the world, and like people will be able to get back to settle to execute their DLC contract. So now let's go back to so Alice won in this case. So Alice will use this attestation to create to execute the DLC. So what she do is DLC execute bet, and she put the attestation of Olivia. Sorry, I didn't paste it correctly. Okay, boom. And here, what you can see, it's pretty cool. What you can see actually, it's a transaction that is ready to be broadcasted on whatever tool with whatever tool you want. I think you can have this in PSBT format with PSBT. So you can use this transaction and broadcast it on the network. So I will do that right now. So I will use BTCPay. So I will use it in PSBT form. I will go back to BTCPay. Okay. I will copy it, decode, review. Oops, actually there is a bug on this one. So instead I will just use blockstream info to broadcast the fully signed transaction that is here. So here, just okay. Now I broadcasted the transaction, and if we go to Alice wallet, so let's see. Try to find Alice wallet. So if I go to back to Alice wallet, what you will see is that she got 0.01 Bitcoin. So what she got back is her collateral plus the collateral of Bob. So in this case, she won the DLC. So that's about all what I wanted to share with you. I will show you one last thing. Like, imagine that Olivia cheats and try to attest two outcomes at once. So we'll show how she can do this if she really wanted to do it. So if she tried to sign for Democrat right now, so basically the tool is advisor to not do it because she will leak her private key if she do that. But imagine that she force it and she do it. So with this, imagine that with this attestation, so Alice can use it. So I will go back to Alice. Alice can use it and she can do event attest, add Olivia elections, and put the second attestation of Olivia. But when she do this, here is the interesting part, is that if I show now, so if I show the state of the event, you can say that we have two attestations for Republican and Democrats. But more importantly, if I go to the Oracle list of Alice, and I show Olivia, now Alice has the private key. So she can, for example, say sensitive Olivia, and now she can have the private key and like impersonate Olivia. So basically, Olivia cannot broadcast the outcome of two events at once without revealing her private key, which is very interesting. But more important, also, you imagine that instead of revealing this attestation publicly, she just give it to Bob, secretly. So if she do this, actually, it's not a problem either. Why? It's because in the transaction, in the transaction execution of the contract, people can extract the attestation. So people can do DLC extract, so bets, and put the transaction to extract, and by doing so, they can get back the attestation that Olivia secretly gave to Bob. So like really there is no way for Olivia to secretly try to like attest two different outcomes without facing the consequences of having a private key leak. So I think this is pretty cool. And well, that's about all I wanted to show you for today. And hope you enjoy. I hope you play with it. Please let us know feedback. I think we have a Telegram group for DLC, but I'm not on there. If you use my tool, I will be happy to reply to you best on the BTCP server, Mattermost server, and then we can make a channel and discuss about it. And that's about it for now. Bye.